Hey everyone, this is Martin from How to Make Mobile Games. Today is January the 22nd, or 23rd today, 2014. This morning I woke up, actually this afternoon, I was still in bed this morning, and I've seen a couple of news feeds, articles that kind of struck a chord with me, so I wanted to put it on the channel and see what people think and if anybody has some more information or opinions, because it's stuff that can directly affect us as game developers, me as well, and a lot of my other friends and colleagues as well. The first one is that you may have heard of it a few days ago. It's called net neutrality, and I'm not an expert on it really, and I've not done a lot of research on this. I've only just been looking at this the past couple of hours, but I wanted to spread the word. And from what I know, net neutrality over in the US and possibly North America is basically that internet service providers, say like Verizon, cannot distinguish or cannot how can we say it? They cannot pick one website over the other to access. So for example, the internet service provider like Verizon cannot say, oh yeah, you can watch YouTube, but you can't go on, Netflix or gamasutra.com or something like this, okay? But there was some kind of court case this past week, and I only just heard about this today, and they ruled in favor of the internet service providers, and net neutrality is now gone. Apparently, like the protection law or whatever it is that says internet service providers cannot distinguish between websites and say, yeah, you can access this or can't access that one. That's completely gone. And one of the big problems is what could happen is that internet service providers in the US can say, all right, so we can sell you a package now of internet speeds that includes this bundle of websites. So for example, for say $20 a month, you can access YouTube and Netflix and Facebook and blah, 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 and we'll sell you that package. Or you can have the social networking package that allows you to access Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is. And so it's not just like one monthly payment anymore. It's basically packages, not just of speed, but possible packages of certain websites. And those websites will get higher bandwidth to your home so that you can access them better. Now, the big problem with that is it potentially means that internet service providers can then just sort of cut out little websites or websites that they deem are not very safe or not in their best interests, or maybe even compete with them, okay? And that's a big problem. For example, if there's a small website that you like that maybe streams video or whatever it is, it's a social website, that website will then get a lower bandwidth allocated to it, so that the experience is worse, and therefore you're less likely to go on that, or the smaller set of websites could just be banned by the internet service provider, and you're only allowed to watch these certain websites. So it's not open anymore. And this is one of the things that happens in China. A lot of websites do get banned. There's the Great Wall of China, the Great Firewall of China, that probably a lot of you guys have heard of, which is, a lot of websites are just banned in China. Like, to use YouTube now, I'm using a proxy service. So I pay a proxy service to connect to the foreign internet in the UK or US or wherever, which allows me to use Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. All of those websites are not allowed in China, mainland China anyway. So that's the big problem. Certain websites can be cut off. Also, possible applications as well, which can affect obviously me and my you guys and my colleagues and my friends who are in the games industry as well. So for example, like a big game that a lot of people like to play might not get the bandwidth it requires in order to play smoothly, and because the internet service provider is favoring other websites instead that they might deem are better. So, and the other point is as well is that it might require, the internet service provider might ask the larger websites or whichever website to pay up in order to allow the end user to access that website at a higher speed. So the internet service provider in the middle is basically the bridge between, say, YouTube and the user. They can charge the user an extra like monthly subscription to access YouTube at a higher speed, and YouTube also has to pay the internet service provider as well in order to be, in that queue, if you know what I mean, to get that special privilege to the end user. So they'll make money on both sides. So net neutrality as well. I think for me, it sounds a little bit crazy because for me, I've said this for like years now. Like one of my favorite inventions and things of all time that have happened in my lifetime is the internet. The reason that I'm able to do videos and make games and program and code and all this stuff is because of the internet, is because of all the free information, that's been shared publicly on like websites like Unity, for example. And, other smaller websites, I found a lot of great tips and a lot of great information, not just about games, but all things as well when I do a search for something. And the internet has been like this, this go-to place when it comes to connecting with people or finding different bits of information that I need to get hold of. And it's been like, the open realm that is not constrained in any way. But it now seems like that might be the case. And I know that I'm based in China or I'm from the UK, and that won't, I could say that won't affect me, but it will. Because if Google has these constraints, then I don't know what will happen to, say, like YouTube. Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe I'm worrying too much. I don't know. Maybe it will be filtered, because I'm going through this like proxy service from China and they won't let that happen or something like that because YouTube competes with the internet service provider. And I don't know what its service provider my proxy goes through, and that could be affected. So, but the main thing is for me is that it seems like the internet, if it does become restricted, is going to be a big problem because it's always been that place of freedom of speech, open information, ability to connect with anyone. And there are negatives to the internet, of course, I know that, but it seems like in this case, the benefits of being able to close down a few sites or not give people access to those sites is completely outweighed by the disadvantages or the potential problems for the end user or just being closed off. So, I encourage you guys to check it out and do a little bit more research because I've not explained it very well and I've only just looked at this the past couple of hours, but it was something that's kind of like struck a chord with me. So if you look up net neutrality on YouTube or Google or Yahoo or whatever, you'll probably find a ton of articles. The other thing that I wanted to talk about on this video is the fact that you can see it on the page here that I've just, if I'm not covering it, but it basically says that King now owns the copyright to the word candy because of their Candy Crush Saga game, which is very popular on Facebook and iPhone and also on Android as well. So it's not, they don't own the right to the word Candy Crush Saga, the full game and the icon or whatever. No, they own the right to the word candy, which I'm not in law, I'm not a lawyer, and I know very little about copyright law at all. But it seems so fucking strange to me that a company can get a copyright on such a broad term as candy. Like, candy is a word. You can't copyright a word. And it's been around for like, 100 or 200 years or something. And Candy Crush Saga, like, okay, the idea is that they want to protect their IP because people copying it. Okay, yeah, I get it. People are copying Candy, so they want to stop people from doing that. But they already can do that because I had a game on iTunes that said Candy, I think it had the word Candy and Saga inside it. And I received a notice from iTunes and on Android and on Amazon from King.com, not just me, but a bunch of other developers. And the game's basically got pulled down because they own the rights to the word Candy and Saga, or it was like infringing on their IP. But it wasn't. The game is a candy-based game, but it wasn't a match 3 style game. It was something completely different, but it did look like a candy game. So I kind of get it, all right? And they can still appeal, and they still have the muscle to do that. But now the word candy is being copyrighted. So what about things that are not game related, like candy itself, or chocolate bars, or whatever it may be, or sweets, as we call them in England? And so it just seems like really extreme to me, and it seems like it's a misuse of power, because Candy Crush Saga is not lacking money. I can tell you that for sure. It is making a damn huge amount of money. And people sort of jumping on the Candy bandwagon, there's nothing wrong with that either, in my opinion. And I don't think legally there's a problem with that. For example, if everyone's looking for the word candy right now and I make a candy game, what's wrong with that? It's just going with the wave of what's being searched for at the moment. So tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Tell me if you think that's rubbish, or if you agree with me. Please comment below. The other like fucking hypocritical thing about that is that Candy Crush Saga is almost like a remake, or just an innovation on Bejeweled. So, okay, now, Bejeweled isn't running, PopCap, who made Bejeweled, they're not running up to King.com and saying, okay, you owe us money for, basically you copied our game mechanic almost, and, people who love Bejeweled are going to play Candy Crush Saga. So it's kind of like hypocritical that they sort of stop other games that have the word candy, but they're allowed to sort of use Bejeweled as a kind of basis for games. Now, I know you can't copyright a game mechanic yet, right? I don't know, maybe you can, I don't know. I heard about Crazy Taxi has a copyright on that arrow that's above the car, which points in the direction. I read that years ago. But it just seems way over the top. Like, Candy Crush Saga, King.com are not going to give any money to Bejeweled, even though they use the fucking match 3 idea. And the reason that I'm kind of worried about this, for me personally, is that I have 2 games right now which have the word candy in them. And I read as well online that developers are going to receive a notice from Apple saying, hey, if you have the word candy in your title, then I don't know what the message is, but there's going to be some message from Apple to developers who have the word candy in the name of their game or application. So that message, I don't know, it might be something like, oh, you've got to take your game down, or you've got to update your game, or you've got to edit it, or you can't use the word candy and you've got this amount of time. So, yeah, it just seems way over the top. And the other thing is that Candy Crush Saga, King.com, is not like, losing any money here. They're making like a ton of money, and to have that approved, I don't know what was going on in the minds of the people at the trademark place, whatever the hell it is, I have no idea, okay? But when they said, yes, it's okay, you can trademark the word candy, I'm like, what? It's like, okay, why don't I just trademark the word it, or and the? It's ridiculous. So it seems like way over the top. So, I don't know what's going to happen with the 2 games that I have right now that have the word candy in the title. In fact, I might have another game that has the word candy in there as well. Nothing to do with match 3, or it doesn't even look Candy Crush Saga-ish. So who knows? I'm going to find out. But these 2 things here, guys, were something that was pretty close to my heart, and it just seemed a little bit crazy to me. Let me know what you think. Am I over-exaggerating it? Am I just being stupid? Does it upset you as well? Because this seems like, this copyright thing has gone a little bit crazy lately with YouTube as well. YouTube recently enforced it's a copyright claim system where if you have some like music or a video inside of your video which belongs to somebody else, then they can flag that video and you don't make any money on that video and they make 100%, even if you have a 20-minute video and that segment was only 10 seconds or 20 seconds that used that music or video, whatever. And it's gone crazy and over the top, and people have done reviews of games who have used obviously the content of that game to make the review, have had their video flagged and they can't make money from that. So it just seems like a little over the top, this net neutrality, the Candy Crush Saga thing, and then this YouTube thing as well. I don't know anyway, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm going to leave some links in the description below so that you can click and find some more information from guys who can explain it a lot better than I can, because I'm just sort of ad-libbing and coming out with an opinion on the fly here. Anyway, guys, I hope everyone's safe, taking care, having a great week developing. I'm going to speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.